Hello, my dear students. Hope you guys are all doing good. Finally, the auditing exam is over, and I'm here before you to give you a quick analysis of this question paper. So, before I do any in-depth analysis of this question paper, let me tell you my perception, how I felt about this particular question paper. So, it was a moderate one. It was easy scoring only, not extremely difficult. I will also not say it is extremely easy. It was a moderate paper. It was an easy one who had done the basic level of preparation. And also, but the problem with this question paper is the questions were very lengthy. The questions are very lengthy. So as you could see the question paper, so most of the questions were a bit lengthy questions were there. So keeping that aside, even though the questions were lengthy, the questions are not so much confusing. The questions were pretty much straightforward. But only thing is, it will kill your time. You have to read that lengthy question. That's what the problem with this question paper. But even though the questions are lengthy, the questions are pretty much straightforward. So without any delay further, let me try to analyze it. And one more caution before I start explaining this question paper. Guys, it's up to your choice when you want to watch this video. I don't expect you to watch it immediately. I am doing this video because some students will have that excitement to know what the answers are. So for them, I am doing it. So if you don't want to get disturbed now, you want to concentrate on rest of the exams. After completing all the exams, if you want to watch this video, then also you can watch it later. So it's up to you when you want to watch it. So I am doing it especially for those students who are excited to know how they have written the answers. For them, I am doing it. It's up to your choice. Whenever you want to watch it, you can watch it at that point of time. So without any delay further, let me start explaining. Let me start analyzing this particular question paper. And one more thing, the pattern of questions were also the pattern of the chapters from which the questions were tested is also more reasonable. It was not an unexpected weightage from unexpected chapters. It was not like that. So whatever chapters we feel generally as more important, from there only significant weightage has come. So let us analyze this simple question paper. So starting with true or false statements, the first question, it is from audit strategy, audit planning and audit program from that chapter. So the first statement, what they are saying is the documentation of overall audit strategy is a record of audit evidences considered necessary to properly plan the audit and to assign various audit functions to the engagement team. Guys, while answering true or false statements, that's why I told you have to be very careful. There will be some minute details which might make you lose your focus. So first, let me come to this particular question. This question, the answer is false. The answer is false. Why the answer is false? Why? Because the documentation of overall audit strategy is a record of key decisions, not audit evidence. In the audit strategy, we make decisions. In the audit strategy, we will not get evidences. So the documentation of overall audit strategy is a record of key decisions which are considered necessary to properly plan the audit and to assign various functions to engagement team. So if they would have given here key decisions, that would have been the correct statement. While developing audit strategy, we will not have any evidences. So that's why documentation of audit strategy is not a record of audit evidences. It is a record of key decisions taken regarding the proper planning of the audit and assignment of the responsibilities. So it should be key decisions. If you replace this term audit evidences with audit evidences with key decisions, then the statement would have been true. So the first statement is false. And this is from which chapter, guys? Audit strategy, audit plan and audit program. Next, this is easier one. B, the second true or false statement is very easier one. Communicating key audit matters in the auditor's report is a separate opinion on individual matters. This statement is also false. Straightforward question. While discussing essay 701, this is from audit reporting chapter, and in that also particularly this question is from essay 701, key audit matter. So in the key audit matters, when you read the purpose paragraph, there they say it is not a substitute for three things, and key audit matter is also not a separate opinion on any of the matters. So by explaining key audit matter, you are not giving any separate opinion. But what in the question they are saying, communicating key audit matters in the auditor's report is a separate opinion. Whereas the standard essay 701 says it is not a separate opinion on any of the matter. So this statement is also false. And this question is from audit reporting chapter. Next, C point. This also very easy one. This actually third question is from audit of items of financial statements. Third question is from what? Audit of items of financial statements. Let us see what is that. Simple thing. Amortization represents systematic allocation of depreciable amount of property, plant and equipment. Wrong. Whereas depreciation represents systematic allocation of depreciable amount of item of property, plant and equipment. Whereas amortization represents, it is a systematic allocation of intangible assets. Yes or no? So this statement is false. Very common sense oriented question. Depreciation represents systematic allocation of item of PPE, whereas amortization represents systematic allocation of intangible assets over its useful life. So this statement is also false. From which chapter this question has been tested? Items of financial statements. Next one. Next question is from company audit chapter. As per section 142 of the Companies Act 2013, the remuneration to the auditor should also include any facility provided to him. Yes, this statement is true. So section 142 of the Companies Act clearly says, as an auditor, the remuneration just will not include the fees which you are receiving. It includes any facility which has been provided to the auditor from the client. So even the cost of that facility also will be included in auditor's remuneration. So this statement is true. From which chapter? Company audit chapter. Next question, very easy question. This is from audit documentation and audit evidence. So what is the question? Appropriateness is the measure of quantity of audit evidence, which is wrong actually. Sufficiency is a measure of quantity, whereas appropriateness is a measure of quality of audit evidence. Appropriateness is a measure of quality of audit evidence, whereas sufficiency is a measure of quantity of audit evidence. So this is from which chapter? Audit documentation and audit evidence. Next one. Analytical procedures. This question is from analytical procedures. So this statement is false. This statement is true. Next one. Analytical procedures are used in all stages of the audit by an experienced auditor. So this is also straightforward question. Analytical procedures, essay 520. So in that we have seen analytical procedures in that dedicated chapter. I have told you analytical procedures will be used in 3 stages: at the planning stage, at the actual audit stage, that is at the actual verification stage, and even at the conclusion phase. So an experienced auditor will use analytical procedures at all 3 levels, at all the stages of the audit, at the planning stage, at the actual audit phase, and even at conclusion phase. Yes, this statement is true. And this question is from which chapter, guys? This is from analytical procedures. Next one, this is from cooperative societies audit, or you can say broad chapter of audit of various entities. Even though we have divided cooperative societies audit in our material as a separate chapter, but cooperative societies audit is a part of audit of various entities only. In the case of cooperative societies audit, contribution to education fund is a charge on profits, is not an appropriation. Yes, this statement is true. You have to compulsorily transfer the money to education fund. It is a charge on profits. It is not an appropriation. So that is what here in case of cooperative societies, the contribution to the education fund is a what? Charge on the profits of the company. This statement is true only. This question is from audit of cooperative societies. Next one, H point. If a company uses this question is actually from audit in automated environment. I insisted a lot to go through this chapter on day before examination. So there is significant weightage from this. If the company uses an integrated enterprise resource planning system, that is ERP, like SAP, Oracle, etc., it is considered to be less complex and easy to audit compared to an off-the-shelf accounting software, which is actually wrong. If your client is using a complicated ERP system, it becomes more complex. If you buy off-the-shelf accounting software, like if you are using some Tally, these kind of readily available market software, they are less complex. But if your client is using a high-level ERP like SAP, Oracle, etc., they will be very complex. So when the entity is more automated, it will be more complex for audit. This point somewhere I have explained in MTP or RTP videos for this attempt. I have uploaded MTP, RTP videos. In that similar kind of question was there. This also I have explained. Clear everybody? So these are the true or false statements. So this statement is also false. It will be more complex when integrated ERP system has been used. Understood everybody? So we have 8 true or false statements here. And out of that I can easily... I can say easily you can answer 6 out of it very comfortably. You can answer it. Understood? And the chapters were also much what expected chapters only when it comes to true or false statements. Clear everybody? So this is what regarding true or false statements. Now talking about descriptive questions, very easy questions. While designing an audit sample, the auditor shall determine a sample size which is sufficient to reduce the sampling risk to an acceptably low level. In this context, explain sampling risk and non-sampling risk. So we have mentioned before on the day before examination, especially in the sampling chapter, to go through the sampling risk concept. From there only the question has come. For 4 marks the question has been tested. So what is sampling risk? What is the impact of the sampling risk? What is non-sampling risk? So straightforward question from the audit sampling chapter from essay 530, this question has been tested. Next one, you are appointed as an auditor of Gamma Limited. Your audit assistant wants to understand the meaning of the audit risk. Explain him the meaning of the audit risk with example. Also guide him as to what is not included in the audit risk. So this chapter is from risk assessment and internal control, first question. First question, the risk assessment and internal control, which is talking about what is the meaning of audit risk. They will define the audit risk. They will also say what is not included in the audit risk. Like if you give modified opinion, when unmodified opinion is appropriate, so that will be termed as that will not be coming under audit risk. So like this, the first question, the risk assessment and internal control, is about audit risk only, so that you have to write here. So straightforward question, no complexity here. So let us have a look at the next question. So here the pages are not in order, so let us go to page number 3. Yeah, this is what the page number 3. So the pages are not in order, we'll come back to that. Next one, an auditor has to exercise professional judgment in determining materiality. Explain the factors that may affect the identification of appropriate benchmark in determining materiality. Repeated question, very much repeated question. And this is from audit strategy, audit planning and audit program chapter. In that also, materiality related questions will be there. What are the factors you have to keep in mind before deciding the benchmark? So like it depends on applicable financial reporting framework. It depends on the needs of users of the industry. So like that, there will be one small part in essay 320 talking about materiality, forming part of the chapter audit strategy, audit planning and audit program. So from there, some 3 marks were tested. Next one, while auditing in an automated environment, how data analytics can be used in testing electronic records and data residing in IT systems using spreadsheets and specialized audit tools. So this is regarding data analytics, once again from audit in automated environment chapter. So if you observe from the audit in automated environment chapter, 2 marks of true or false statements is already tested. Along with that, this 3 marks once again. So till now from the audit in automated environment chapter, already 5 marks were tested. Clear? Next one. So with this we are done with second question. Now talking about the third question. CAP is the auditor of MN Limited. While scrutinizing the accounts of MN Limited, he observed that the company had large volumes of trade payables outstanding in the balance sheet as on 31st of March 2023, for which external confirmations are not available. When you read this external confirmation, immediately which standard should come to your mind? SA 505. CAP wants to send external confirmation request to selected trade payables, but management of MN Limited refused for the same. Discussed how CAP should deal in this regard as per relevant standard on audit. What is the relevant standard? SA 505. And which paragraph you have to write? Management refusing the auditor to send external confirmation request. Then what auditor should do? So in the SA 505, there will be one paragraph with this heading: management refusing the auditor to send external confirmation request. That paragraph you are supposed to write here. Next one. So this question is from SA 505, and we told on the day before examination compulsorily go through 4 standards: 501, 505, 580 and 510. Out of that, SA 505, so some 4 marks is already tested. Next one, management of D Limited has issued shares at a discount to its creditors. Explain the provisions of the Companies Act when shares are issued at a discount to the creditors. As an auditor, what will be your concern of checking in such a case? This is from items of the financial statements. They are asking you how to conduct audit of verification of issue of shares at discount. See, the same point we have covered in the RTP. Recent RTP video I have uploaded. In that RTP, I have covered on this point. I have spent a significant amount of time in explaining this. When the shares can be issued at a discount, what auditor should verify. This has been uploaded in the RTP video which I have uploaded in the recent times. And this question is from audit of items of financial statements. Next, X Limited is a hardware manufacturing company. At each and every stage of production process, large amount of scrap is generated in the factory and subsequently sold. As an auditor, how will you vouch or verify the sale of scrap? Once again, the question from audit of items of financial statements only. So how do you conduct audit of sale of scrap? Next one, CAQ, the auditor of XYZ Limited, while conducting audit, observes that the company has made various provisions in the books of accounts. What are the audit procedures that CAQ will follow to verify existence, completeness and valuation of the provisions? Once again, from audit of items of financial statements, they are asking you how to conduct audit of the provisions. That is why I insisted on the day before examination, you have to spend the last 2-3 hours of the time in going through that audit of items of financial statements and audit of various entities. So that's why I was very specific. Before you go for the examination, 3 hours of time you dedicated for items of financial statements and various entities. Why I said this? See the weightage. Till now, how many questions were tested from audit of items of financial statements? Here 3, 6. Then we have this also from audit of items of financial statements only. So 3 plus 3 plus 4, 6 plus 4, 10 we have already covered. Along with that, we have one question in true or false statements also, I guess. So when you have a look at the true or false statements, some question was there. Yeah, depreciation, that question is there. No, 2 marks. So totally till here, 12 marks were already there from the chapter audit of items of financial statements. Next one. So now let us have a look at few more questions. So now we will see fourth question. CAD has been appointed as an auditor of LMP Limited. Before developing an overall audit plan, CAD wants to get an understanding and knowledge of client's business, including applicable financial reporting framework. Guide CAD in understanding of the same with reference to relevant standards on audit. So this is from SA 315, you can say. And also we have included a question in audit strategy, planning and program. So as we know, as an auditor, you have to develop an audit plan. Before developing audit plan, you need to understand regarding client's business, what specifically you will try to understand, like client's external environment, like client's internal things, accounting policies, applicable financial reporting framework. So that's what you are supposed to write here. Next one. ABC Limited is a public company which has availed various loans and cash credit facilities from banks and other financial institutions. The company has defaulted in repayment of such borrowings during the year under audit. What are the reporting requirements in this regard under the CARO? So this question is from CARO. Obviously, the question paper will not be there without asking a question from CARO. And this is regarding 9th point of the CARO, default in the repayment of the loans. 6 points will be there under that point number 9. So that's what you are supposed to write here. 9th reporting requirement of CARO. Next one. The reliability of data is influenced by its source and nature and is dependent on the circumstances under which it is obtained. Explain the factors that are relevant when determining whether data is reliable for the purpose of designing substantive analytical procedures. So this is from analytical procedures, and how whether results of analytical procedures will be reliable or not, that depends on reliability of data. Whether data is reliable or not, that depends on some 4 factors. It depends on its source, it depends on its nature, it depends on its comparability. So like that, some 4 points will be there in the analytical procedures chapter. That is what you are supposed to write here. Very small answer will be there. Next one. As a part of risk assessment, the auditor shall determine whether any of the risk identified are in the auditor's judgment a significant risk. Mention any 3 guiding factors as to which risk will be significant risk. So they are asking you, as an auditor, how will you decide whether a risk is a significant risk or not? So this is from the chapter risk assessment and internal control. Clear? Next one. So now we will have a look at 5th question. S Limited, a large textile manufacturing company, due to heavy recession in the market, was unable to collect amount of huge receivables in time, and also holding large amounts of stock of raw material and finished goods since last 9 months of the financial year. From your primary observations of the audit evidence, you feel that there is a material uncertainty regarding going concern. From which standard? SA 570. I specifically mentioned from SA 570, read the reporting requirements at least. If you are unable to cover the entire standard, read at least the reporting requirements. From there the question has come. So if there is a material uncertainty, how will you deal in the audit report? How will it affect your opinion when there is adequate disclosure, when there is no adequate disclosure? So from SA 570, when there is a material uncertainty, if there is adequate disclosure, you can give unmodified opinion only, but you have to use a separate paragraph, material uncertainty relating to going concern, and highlight that matter. Whereas the other case, in case if there is no disclosure given, you have to give either qualified or adverse opinion. So this I insisted specifically to go through SA 570 reporting requirements. From there, some 4 marks was easily tested. Next one. So now let us have a look at few more questions. Yeah. During the course of audit of PQR Limited, the statutory auditors CAG came across payments made to various creditors aggregating to 75 lakhs. On verifying the same, it is found that the accounts manager had accounted for fake invoices of credit purchases for 25 lakhs in the books of accounts in the name of one bogus creditor. So that means one of the employee has committed a fraud. How much he has committed a fraud? He has committed a fraud for 25 lakh rupees. Amount involved in the fraud is less than 1 crore. So what auditor should do? He has to report the matter to audit committee or board of directors within 2 days. Then his responsibility will come to an end. Now the board of directors in their board's report, they have to give 4 disclosures: nature of the fraud, amount involved in the fraud, parties involved, along with that what remedial actions are taken. So they are asking about duties of the auditor. Those duties are mentioned in 143 subsection 12, and this is a fraud in which amount is less than 1 crore rupees. No reporting to central government will be applicable. A short answer you have to write there. Understood everybody? So this is the chapter, this is the question from company audit. This is the question from company audit. Let us have a look at the next question. So next question, for this question there is one more choice. CA, a chartered accountant, is a senior manager of multi-state cooperative society in Mumbai. He is proposed to be appointed as an auditor of multi-state cooperative society. Analyze the provisions of Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act 2002 and comment on the validity of proposed appointment. So this is from the audit of cooperative societies, that to audit of multi-state cooperative societies. As you know, in the case of multi-state cooperative societies also there will be some disqualification. One of the disqualification is officer or employee of a society can't be appointed as an auditor. In the given case, he is a chartered accountant, but he is a senior manager. That means he is an officer or employee in the company. So he will become disqualified. You can't get appointed as auditor of a multi-state cooperative society. This provision and answer you have to write. Next one, elucidate the circumstances when a modifications to auditor's opinion is required. Also state the factors for making the decision regarding which type of modified opinion will be appropriate. This is from SA 705, and in the SA 705 also first two paragraphs whatever are there, nothing but they are asking you when you will give modified opinion. So you have to write the definition of modified opinion, and for deciding which kind of modified opinion will be appropriate, which factors you will consider. Only two factors: whether you have a availability or non-availability of sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. Along with that, one more thing, pervasiveness of the misstatement, whether the misstatement will be pervasive or not. These two factors will be enough to decide whether the opinion, whether which kind of modified opinion will be appropriate. So from the SA 705, first two paragraphs whatever are there, that you are supposed to write here. Next one, D question. Management is often in the best position to perpetrate a fraud. As an auditor, you are suspecting existence or suspicion of fraud from the management. Give any 3 examples of others within the entity to whom direct inquiries you can make. See, the question is, as an auditor, if you want to know whether a fraud has been conducted or not, with whom you will inquire. With whom we will inquire? See, there is one question which we have included in our material. Scope of auditor's inquiry regarding the fraud. In which chapter? Fraud and responsibilities of the auditor chapter. If you open that chapter, there will be a question called scope of auditor's inquiry. In our material, you will be able to find it. In that scope of auditor's inquiry, they will say with 3 people you have to inquire. You have to inquire with the management. You have to inquire with those charged with governance. You can inquire with the internal auditors. You can also inquire with the legal counsel. So these kind of things they will say. So these are the others within the entity from whom you can go and inquire. Understood? Employees also they will say, officers also they will say. So these are the other people with whom the auditor can go and conduct an inquiry. And this question is from which chapter? Fraud and responsibilities of the auditor. And I think that's all. No, sorry, one more question is that. So let us have a look at one more question. ATM Limited is a public company with a paid up capital of 12 crore rupees. The company has made a turnover of 105 crores in the financial year 21-22. The outstanding loans as on 31st of March 2022 was 32 crores. Whether ATM is required to constitute an audit committee in the financial year. Analyze the provisions of the Companies Act. Direct question from Companies Act. Nothing much to discuss here. They are asking you on the applicability of audit committee. So we have 5th question in our material. We have provisions regarding when audit committee is required to be constituted. So what are the limits for constituting of audit committee? The public companies, unlisted public companies are required to constitute audit committee if their paid up capital is 10 crores or more. Here paid up capital is already 12 crores. If their turnover is 100 crores or more, turnover limit is also exceeded. And they are saying even they have outstanding borrowings, but borrowings are within the limit of 50. But still, even one condition is violated, they are required to create an audit committee. Since 2 conditions are violated, they have to create an audit committee. Clear everybody? Next one. So simple question regarding company audit chapter, that too applicability of audit committee. Next one. SK and Co, a chartered accountant firm, has been appointed as an auditor of metro rail project in city A. Since the project is on large scale, it involves a high volume of resources. The appointing authority, C&AG, requires an objective examination of financial and operational performance of the rail project. Explain the nature and scope of audit that SK and Co will undertake. Financial and operational performance, government related project. They are talking about performance audit here. This is a bit indirect question. See, nowhere they use the term performance audit, but they have given the hints here. It is a very big project. You want to know financial and operational performance of this project. So which kind of audit we do all this? For performance audit, we do all this. So you have to write about the performance audit here. From the government audit chapter, this question has been tested. Next one. A Limited has availed cash credit facilities against stock and book debt, term loans for machineries and bank guarantees from Big Bank Limited. A Limited furnishes stock statements and age-wise list of data to Big Bank Limited on regular basis. Concurrent auditors of Big Bank Limited mentioned about wrong calculations of drawing power by the bank branch along with the sanctioned limit and balances overdrawn due to wrong calculation of drawing power in the monthly report. Explain the meaning of the drawing power and how it differs from sanctioned limit. What points you have to check regarding drawing power? This point I have mentioned specifically while conducting audit of the banks. Please at least go through drawing power. So from the drawing power, some 3 marks question has been tested. Next one, CAB is appointed as auditor of public charitable trust. Guide him the focus area of attention relating to vouching and verification of expenditure of charitable institution. This is regarding audit of various entities. So they have asked a question regarding, as an auditor, how will you verify expenses of a charitable institution? Clear everybody? So if you give a little bit of thought and if you would have done a minimum level of preparation, you could have answered these questions comfortably. Clear and comfortable everybody? So this is a quick analysis of this question paper. Hope you all have attempted well. So if you have if you don't want to go through this video, don't go through it. Just complete the rest of all the exams, then you can watch it later. I should have told it at the beginning. I have already told it at the beginning also, but still hope you would have all comfortably done the examination. I wish you all the very best for the coming 2 exams also. Please do well guys. All the very best. Thank you for watching. Bye guys.